Hello again, grade 12. It is now Thursday, and you must open the program that we did, the Selma phone program. If you're absent or you missed out, you can go to File and open the folder for RT memo files in the chapter 2, and you'll see the dates there. So you can open the one from the 10th of May and then you can continue. Okay, then you need to open the actual phone class itself. Don't forget, you have to open the phone class. So there's the phone class. I'll click on it and click open, and then we have our phone class that we wrote on the 10th of May, and yesterday, because I'm not yesterday, the day before, Tuesday. You didn't have RT yesterday. So we're opening this phone class, and now we've written a whole lot of things, but we're going to add a new method to it, a getters for brand, model, and owner. What are getters? Get methods, in other words. Get methods are functions. So we've got to write a function, a new one here. So I'm going to say underneath here, I'm going to go to the public section here where the headers are. Function get brand colon, what kind of variable is it? It's a string data type, so it must be, the function must be string also, not so. Then we want function get model, and that must also be a string. Then you want a function called get owner, and that must also be a string. So there we go. Do we need to get the purchase date? No, we're not going to do one for that, so we're going to highlight that. Control-Shift-C. Oops, cannot complete class include methods implementation. Yeah, everything's right. Okay, so that just means that we have an issue. I must fix the issue now. Okay, that's fine. It runs perfectly fine. Oops, there's errors. Okay, there we go. Oh, I forgot about a VAR, a variable here. VAR. Yeah, I was copying and pasting code, remember? For this function, calculate age. So we're going to run it. Oop, another error. Num days. Now, okay. Now, undefined date. Not now, date minus purchase date. No. Oh, date minus. Okay, I think that might be. Oops. Right, if purchase date. Ah, see now the purchase date over here is a string, and I should have called it, yeah, T date time, so fine. And my if purchase date, purchase, spelling mistake. I forgot to run I forgot to try and run the code last time, so we've got to make sure spelling is correct. So now I'm going to run it, and let's see what other errors we have. Well, if purchase price, there's no such thing as if purchase price, there's only if price. So if price, there, if price exists in our fields over here. It's good that we're having these issues because it helps you to understand how all of this is working. Now over here, right, get brand. That's because we have not implemented yet, so let's highlight it, Control-Shift-C. Now it's going to be fine. Now we run our program, we'll see that it will run. Okay, so file save all. It'll save the class and the main program. Remember the main program class, main program. Right, now we've got to write the code for these methods: get model, get owner, and get what is the other one? Get brand. So get brand must say result equals the private field f brand. So there it is over there. So get brand result equals f brand. The same thing with model result equals the private field f model. And then for get owner, the result equals the private field called f owner. And they're all strings, so we don't have to worry about any conversion or anything. So the function's a string, owner's a string, and so on. So run the program to make sure it works, and then we go file save all. We've fixed all the problems. Now we can move on to using all of these methods. There's a lot to use here, hey? And these are all in the class. Now this is the more difficult thing to do, is to use those methods. We've got them all, but now we must use them. And we're going to do that in this next activity on page 70. Yes, I know it looks like we're skipping, but we are actually going to learn by doing this. So now we're going to use our class. We're going to use our tphone class. We've got it all. Now we must make sure phone class is in the user section. We did that last time. We made sure the user section, which it did have phone class there. Phone class in the main program is using this phone class here. Okay, so that's done. Next thing is to, in your main form, declare variable of a phone type, a tphone, a variable belonging to tphone. And I showed you in the main program, our global variable over here, we said my phone. Okay, let's just call it phone. Phone colon of tphone type. Okay, I explained that last time. And now we're going to save and run. Everything's correct. We know it is. Okay. Now, we're not, okay, added to refresh. Fine. We've successfully added it. Now, we have to go and declare our object. We have to use the object. What is the object? The object is called phone. There it is. That's the object. It belongs to the tphone class. How are we going to use it? Well, we have to first create it. We have to use a create. Okay, now we can use our create. Where are we going to use it? In the right to the on-click event of the button save. Okay, so we have to go and create, use our constructor create. And in the code, in the right-hand column to the on-click event of the button save. Where's our save button? There it is. On-click event. Add the code in right-hand column to the on-click event in the form class. Okay, fine. First line, second line displays its state. Fine. So we're going to go and call create. And we're going to instantiate the object with these. Okay, we're not going to use the just dot create. We're going to use create with a whole thing. But we can go and put this code in and see what happens in our save button click. You know, and let's go and do that. The save button click here. Add test code here. Fine. Tphone create. Now create without any parameters. Okay, let's see. Right, because create was not used inside. Yeah, we didn't have a constructor create and overload. Well, I suppose we can just go and put one in and see what happens. We don't use overload in exams. It's not something that you'll be examined on. But if we're going to have two constructors with the same method, we use overload, semicolon, after each one. So now let's see. Okay, create overload. Okay, I never implemented. Control Shift C. There it is there. and I'm just going to do that. I implemented it. So click save, and there's a show message there. There's the constructor, and it's got a random purchase date, a really random purchase date, as you can see. So as I said, you can do things in one constructor or the other, but we don't actually need to have this constructor create. So I was just demonstrating to you, and I will get rid of that other overload there because there isn't two words, and we also have to get rid of the implementation of the constructor create without any parameters, and then we're good to go. And now it will run perfectly fine, but of course we've got that there, so we can't run it yet. What we are going to do though is we're going to call create with all of these methods. Now here's the thing. If we use phone, tphone as a phone is our object belonging to the class tphone, okay? In order to actually start using it, you have to have this line, phone equals tphone dot create, and in brackets you then go and put in the things that you want that phone to have. So in other words, you can have a string here, our phone, and then you can have another one. Can you see I'm focusing on here the model? Oh, model, I don't know, 6S, in 6S, okay, comma, and then we've got to have the next parameter. Now you see I made a mistake, so my little tooltips are not going to come up anymore. So basically, as soon as you open the brackets, you'll see the tooltips that you've got to put a string, another string, another string, a date and a time, and a real price. And then you can use the tphone dot create. And what they said we can do here is we can use these following attributes, okay, to instantiate our object. We're just going to use it to test the actual construct, the actual we're going to test our code using that data. So I'm basically just using that data there, and the constructor create is going to have all of this string. It's going to have that, and John Smith, and then we have the 750, not that, 750. It's got to be an integer, 750. Okay, is that an integer? I hope so. I mean a real number, sorry. So y string to date time, and then they put a date into a string format there, and then the number 750, and then we're going to show message our phone dot to string. How do they get phone dot to string? You open the brackets, type the object name or the variable phone, type a full stop, and look what happens. And you can only do that after you've run this create, after you've got create, and then you can go and just click on the method that you want to use, and there it is. And if you run the program, and then we just click on that save button, you'll see that is the show message that comes up. Okay, so that is a bit of magic that OOP has. So once you've written all of these methods over here, using them is pretty simple, but only after you've done the dot create. Okay, you have to do dot create. You've got to use dot create. This is the main program where you have your object belonging to that class, and then to create it, you say that object name equals the class name dot create, and then in brackets you put all the things you have to put in, and then you can use any of the methods. Now remember that the toString function, which is here in the main class, remember it's a function, so therefore you can refer to functions inside the brackets of a show message, and every time you type the word phone and a full stop, you'll get methods that you can use, but you must choose the right ones. So we want to choose a function here, and if I type the word phone and a full stop, There, I get the same thing. You see? As soon as you write, after you've done the create, it only happens after you've done the dot create, then you can write phone, full stop, anywhere in your main program, just the word phone and full stop, and then you can get access all of these methods over here. Right, but that only happens after you've used create, that most important line altogether. So this was just a test to see that it works. We're now going to move on to add code to the right. Okay, save, test the set price, get price, and so on. So testing all of those things, but what we're going to do is complete our program, because that's the main thing, isn't it? The main program. This is all just testing. Add code on the right hand column to the save button to test the the code. Oh, this code over here. Yeah, they're just talking about this column over here. So we've done this one and we saw that it worked, and this one is another method, so you're not going to worry about that. What we're going to do is use our program, which is the most important part. Completing the Sell My Phone app, and this is page 72. So we are going to declare phone global. We've done that. And then we are going to go and basically instantiate our object using not words that we want to, not test code, no. The save click we're going to use not these quotations here that I've put in for testing. So we're going to delete all of that. We don't need to do that. We're going to use the inputs from the edit boxes to do our create, call our create method. The inputs are here. We have a CBX brand, we have the model number, we have the owner name, we have this date, and we have EDT price. So we're going to give these all we can have variable names for all of these, and then we can go and send it off to our constructor create. So let's go and get some variable names here. S brand name, S model name, S owner name, colon string, R retail for the price, which will be a real data type, I think. Yeah, obviously, requested price, and the D date, I'll just call it D date. Well, what other variable? I want to make different variables to what's going on there. D purchase, we'll just call it D date. Column date time data type. Right, let's hope that's going to be fine. Now we're going to go and get our inputs from the edit boxes and so on. So S brand name equals, let's see, CBX brand dot a checkbox, CBX brand dot text, and S model name equals EDT model dot text R price can be string to float. It's not R price, it's R retail, R retail. I'm using the local variables here to get my inputs from the edit boxes. EDT price dot text, obviously converted to a float, and S owner name, EDT owner dot text, and then the date purchased would be our EDT date. So D date will be equal to EDT date dot date. Wait, date dot. Let's just think now. Is this a date time picker? No, it's not actually. It's a string. So they've got a mask edit on there, I think. I'm hoping it's an edit mask. They could have used a date time picker there, so we've got to go string to date. We'll have to do that. Oops, I keep switching. So ddate equals string to date, open brackets, edt date dot text. Now we're going to take those things and we're going to start using our object. So in order to use our object, we're going to say phone colon equals tphone dot create, open brackets. So in the order that they appear, they have to be in the same order that are here in this tool, in the tooltips over here. So S brand name comes first, comma, S model name, comma. Can you see how it moves now to the next one? S owner name, comma. Then we're moving on to the purchase date, D date, comma. And then the price, R retail. And take note, I'm not using the same variables that are sitting here in the tooltip. I'm using the variables that I just created up here in this button click event. So those variables that are in this button click event are going off to constructor create. All right. So now in order to check that, message phone dot toString, because remember we wrote the toString which returns the values of all those attributes. Remember the toString, here it is, there it is, returns all those variables values. So we're going to run the program and t date 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 date. Okay, fine. I've obviously used t date time, got to put a t in front of it, sorry. Okay, click button save. All right, so we have one issue, and I think that is just the date time, converting that string to date. That was it, string to date time, and I'm sure that's it. Click the, we got to put things in here. Select a brand. Okay, fine. Model number, I don't know, 6S, Jane, purchase that. Sorry, I forgot, we've got to type things in here. 2001, and then the month must be a month, obviously, and the day must be 01, requested price 250, save, and there it is. So that works perfectly fine. Right, so that's how we actually use. Now, I know they've got a string grid over here, which is going to be a bit tricky, and we haven't done string grids yet. So that's going to be another lesson altogether, so I'll have to give you a lesson on that one. Now, we're supposed to go to page 74 today, 273, 74. Okay, so we've got our program. We've now proved that it works. We stored the inputs, instantiate the object with the inputs, and that is all fine. And we then have to go and learn how to use the class together with a string grid. Okay, so this would be interesting. So we know how to use constructor create. We showed message to string. We haven't done anything else like changing the actual, the price, or setting the price, or calculating the age of the phone. We haven't done any of that yet. And tomorrow will be the day that we do that. So I want you to today you must get your programs working, so that tomorrow we can continue and finish it up. Okay.